Here's a picture of Dionisio Aguado. He was born in 1784, died in 1849, 100 years before I was born. And we see he's got a Leprovac guitar here, made about 1838. And this tripod here was also available at the Bernabe Carrafa store at Principe 15 in Madrid. They advertised in the Diario de Madrid on the 16th of May, 1838. Here's the advertisement from the Diario de Madrid. You see at the bottom in Spanish it says Triposiciones para la guitarra. Triposiciones, modern invention for the guitar with a grand and admirable effect not having to hold the guitar. And these were available for 8 to 100 duros. I thought this morning, I said, well, maybe some of these had silver metal pieces, others had gold metal pieces, so we see quite a range from 8 to 100 duros. Here's another advertisement. It's the first one I found. I found this on Saturday. It's the same store, large listing of their holdings that you could walk in. They carried everything, drums, band instruments for military, violins, guitars, everything. And down the bottom, it says Triposiciones para las guitarras. Tripods for the guitars. I'll show you a catalog page. I have to give my friend and colleague credit, Roland Terrier. He lives in Mirecourt, France, the city where he had over 1,000 people making violins and guitars in the 19th into the mid-20th century. And this is from his page, luthiermirecourt.com. And we see a list of guitars here. Spanish guitars, English guitars, German guitars, and French guitars. It elucidates, it said, made by Pages, by Joseph Pages and his sons, Lacote, Rene Lacote in Paris, and other authors, other makers. Antique and modern. You could buy pre-owned guitars. Probably get a Baroque guitar there as well. But they go through mentioning above that guitars for children, quarter size, half size, and 3/4 size. No prices we see there, but they do elucidate the prices. $150 for a fine guitar with antique clavieros. That would be pegs. You had a lot of peg-sized guitar head guitars at that time. And then we see finer guitar, claviero de máquina. That would be gears. My colleague Richard Bernabe in Chicago, he told me decades ago, and he's put it in print in his vintage guitar magazines, that you could spend just as much for the gears as you could for the guitar, getting fine German gears. A superior, and so the least expensive guitar, or the one that they mention here, they don't have prices for the kids' guitars, but they do show prices of 150 pesetas. At that time, the peseta in 1857, when this catalog was printed, was 5 pesetas to the dollar, so 150 pesetas would be about $30. In the United States, Martin Guitar in 1870 had guitars that went from $36 up to $90. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So then we see the guitar with pegs was 380 pesetas. Be about $76, I guess. We see extra superior guitar. Now this says Clavijero de Máquina Interior. This would be referring to the inlaid gears that Rene Lacote came up with. And it says that the more expensive guitars, the ones at 430 and 800 pesetas, that those would come with a case. Cases were expensive as well. And it says that we carry guitars made by the best workshops, the Fábricas de Madrid, Valencia, Granada, and Barcelona. So at this time, Agustín Altimira, I've had a couple of those guitars go through my shop. They were made in Barcelona. Granada, you had Nicolas de Valle. You had in Valencia, you had Silvestre Senchordi, whose sons became people that sent guitars overseas, Ultramar, and other shops in Madrid. I want to show you a couple maps of great Madrid makers. Before I do that, let me talk about some prices. We usually think of Martin guitars in the United States as being the staple. So in 1870, a 028 Martin rosewood, fancy binding, spruce top, Brazilian rosewood back and sides, that would sell for $60. And you could also get a 242, which would have mother of pearl binding for $90. That's a little bit better later than the 1857 period of time that we're speaking of, the catalog that I showed you from Bernabe Carrafa. Now we're going to see how close the Bernabe Carrafa shop was to Gregorio Carrasato's shop. Not even a kilometer, about a third of a mile. And notice that the Bernabe Carrafa shop is just a 1-minute walk away from the Ateneo de Madrid. Everybody played there. Segovia played there. Miguel Llobet played there decades later. And I bring up the fact of Gregorio Carrasato because in 1847 I did a video a couple months ago about how in 1847 he made guitars at Trinidad de Huerta, virtuoso at the time, who was publishing sheet music, that and a method book, I think. Have to double check on that. But he used 2 different rosewood guitars in concert when he was in Madrid in 1847. And at the same time, here we see that Francisco Gonzalez, who taught Jose Ramirez, who taught his brother Manuel Ramirez, that his shop was just a kilometer, about 2/3 of a mile away from the Bernabe Carrafa shop. And he won awards in 1867 in Paris. Thank you.